Hello there, amazing humans, incredible creatives. I'm Samaj. This is Creating with Samaj, and I want to welcome you to 20 minutes of us painting together, doing whatever shows up in the intuitive process because the process is about painting and not being attached to the end result, but really being attached to the process of creating. So, thank you for joining me today. We're just going to turn to a page in our book and see what we can create today in this time that we have together. And I'm not sure how much time we're going to have before my camera stops recording because I have limited power and limited disk space. So maybe this will be a 5-minute, 10-minute, who knows how long. But what I do know is we're going to enjoy our next 20 minutes together. So I have a Caran d'Ache crayon, and I am just going to make some marks with the Caran d'Ache. And that marker is water soluble. It's a watercolor crayon. So we can fill that in with water. When the water touches it, it is going to melt and be beautiful. So I've been gone for a few days and gave me some time to think about what this channel is going to be about. And I realized that in watching the videos, I appreciate everyone who has watched. It's been great having an opportunity to see people's response by the views. But what I realized is something that's not comfortable for me is asking for likes and accolades. It feels to me like approval. And I don't need any approval from anybody for the things that I do. And that goes to all the businesses that I've ever been involved in, whether when I was doing my cake business or my salon business or my party planning business. Anything that I did, I didn't really advertise or promote myself. I figured if you like the quality of the work and what I do, the merit of that should speak for itself. And I've never been quite the dog and pony show person to sell myself. So I decided that while I was away, it would probably be more beneficial for me and more in my character if I just shared with you for 5, 10, 15, or 20 minutes, however much time that's going to be. Because that feels more, what are you doing? My cat is like here trying to do something, of course. It feels more natural for me to not ask for approval from people. Even in the art that I create, some people have said that they appreciated my art, and I appreciate that, but that's not the process of why we're here together. We're not here for approval. If I get likes, wonderful. If I get subscribers, wonderful. I appreciate it. You're valued. You're important. Your time matters to me, but I'm not here seeking those things out. I realized I'm just here creating a space so that maybe you, person out there, who's over 50, who's over 60, who has a lot of stuff on your mind, who holds a lot of stuff inside, needs an opportunity to allow that stuff to get out. And what better place to do that than in a creative space where you just get to sit for 20 minutes or however much time you have. There's no commitment of a dedicated has to be time. If it's 2 minutes today, it's 2 minutes. Okay, it was 2 minutes, but it was 2 precious minutes that were spent fully engaged in the process of creating some beautiful art. So I think it's important for us to just connect with whatever part of ourselves that's needing to be connected with, to have that conversation, and to be quiet enough to listen. I realized that while I was out, I was quiet enough to hear that it wasn't necessary for me to do this for any other reason than the reason of just doing it. And to hopefully encourage others to maybe join along on the adventure. Because, they always say there's safety in numbers, or there's more power in more people. I personally just feel that with all the chaos that's happening right now in the world, and we have to admit, chaos seems to be everywhere these days. If we can find some time to just be present in this space of creating, maybe it'll make all that outside noise quiet down for just a few minutes. So that we can hear what we need to hear, whatever that is, without judgment. Judgment's a really hard thing to let go of, and it's a struggle. I think we as people find ourselves in that quandary, predominantly because of society, I think. Society creates space for more judgment, I think, sometimes, than even our own personal space creates space for judgment. And what do I mean by that? I think that sometimes we can be very content with who we are and how we flow in the world until we get around other people who question why we flow the way we do, or question our behavior of how we approach things, or why we believe certain things. So in that is where I think that society shows up sometimes to thwart our ability to be our authentic selves. And part of our journey may be to figure out in that noise how to still be our authentic selves. And having time here in this space to create, maybe we can find a minute or two to get those answers. I'm unsure, but I'm present and I'm showing up. And to me, that's important. I have no answers. I also don't have a lot of questions. Questions lead to expectations like answers, and I think sometimes that's just hard. We may not have the answers, and so instead we can accept things for what they are, how they present, rather than necessarily attaching something else to it. I realized the other day when I was gone, there are a lot of people who do intuitive painting online. And I think there are a lot of people who are therapists who do this as a means and a method to connect with their clients, or get their clients to connect with another part of themselves. And I think that's an incredible thing. So always wonderful if one can find a therapist. About 30 years ago, when I was young, I had a gentleman who I met who was an incredible therapist and helped me in a time in my life. And I think that is honestly the only time that I ever felt that therapy was really beneficial, because he really came with a desire to help without judgment. And that was really phenomenal. I know therapists aren't supposed to judge, but I think sometimes it feels like they do, at least in my personal experience, which kept me from wanting to go back. And in that, there's probably a deeper conversation. Oh my gosh, it is totally snowing outside right now. Like full white out snow globe. Snowing! Oh my gosh, I had no idea it was supposed to do that. It snowed overnight, but I thought that was just going to be it. But this is big snow, big snow. Can you hear the wind outside? I also decided not to have any music on my videos. Whatever shows up naturally and here while we're together is what shows up. And so if it's noise from the animals, if it's noise from the household, it is what it is, and what it is what it is. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Our time together as we go on this creative journey, exploring ourselves, having conversation, and just being present in the experience. I decided too, while I was gone for those few days, that I wanted to originally put this on my own website as an opportunity for me to connect with people, but then I realized it costs too much. And so the reason that it's here on YouTube is so that I can just share it with everyone without an outrageous cost to me in streaming service, because hosting companies charge a lot of money if you're going to stream videos off of their server. So that's a story with that. All right, let's see if we can fill this in with some color in the couple of minutes that we have left. See if the camera continues without us stopping. Filling in this background color with water. Ooh, look, and it kissed that edge, causing it to activate. Let's see, what color do I think I'm going to drop into the back? You know, it's never a thought of what's going to happen. We just intuitively go and pick up whatever we feel we need to. And you know what's really crazy? Is I'm really being pulled to the brown. And I don't know why, but it just seems like brown is an underutilized color and wants to represent today in the painting. I think so often we go for those bright, bold colors. So yes, brown wants to show up. And brown plays well with other colors too. we're still filming together. Let me turn this around. So no music, just an intuitive painting session, a little conversation, and ultimately a chance to see what shows up. A lot of intuitive artists share about setting an intention before we start. And sometimes that might be important, but the intention when you start may just be to play and to enjoy that process of creativity to show up, however it decides to show up, and not question how it shows up. You know, kids do things and they don't question why. They do it in their art. So I always say, get connected to that child inside of you so that you can feel that energy and that joy of playing and what shows up when we play. What shows up in our colors, what shows up in the unexpected joy of play. Because play is important. Even as adults, we have to take time to find time to play. Doing so allows us to problem solve, escape, and come up with brilliant ideas and new incredible ways of doing things. I'm going to dry this off a bit. I think that brings us to the end of our session today. We can look at this from different angles and see what we've created. See the beauty in it. And mostly in abstract painting and art, most artists sign it on the back, not to interfere with the piece, but I'm a rule breaker. Great spending time with you today. I look forward to seeing you the next time. And wherever you are, I trust you have the most amazing day. And until then,